10 Talks. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brian Webb. Annalisa, we're neighbors and we're working together for the first time.
I know. I just saw you in the neighborhood the other day, and now we get to work together, so this is great.
Somebody's waving at me across the street, and I'm like, I think I should know that person. It was kind of out of context, so I apologize.
Out of context, I had sunglasses on. I had a dog.
You're looking all cool walking down the street. So very cool that we're working together for the first time. And we're supposed to talk about something, but I kind of forgot what it was.
Well, that is a great intro because we are talking attention spans because it's really crazy. It's declining across generations in the U.S., I think.
Where do you get to my age?
No.
Dr. Emilio Justo is joining us today. Doctor, can you help us with our attention spans?
Oh my goodness! I hope so. I hope so because it's a serious crisis in this culture. I really believe that.
Is it changing? Is it getting worse because of this thing?
Yes, because of that thing. Because folks, have some studies have indicated that we have a 47-second attention span, and the reason for that, in my opinion, is that we're so used to this new culture where we want instant everything, and that instant hit, that dopamine hit, that instant gratification, that instant reward. We want the novelty. Our attention, in my view, is really kind of like a slot machine, right? You pull that slot machine, you want that novelty. What's going to come up? Well, what is the new norm? And we really need to pull back and slow down and pause, because I just recently gave my third TEDx talk, not to change subjects, but the title of it was here in ASU, TEDx ASU, is that the most dangerous skill in the modern world is speed, and that speed translates into our attention span. Everything go, 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 go. We really, in my view, need to learn to pause, because by pausing, we can reflect, and by reflecting, we're not reacting out of impulse. We're actually digesting things, formulating true thoughts. So it's an issue in my view.
Yeah, I even notice it in my own life. If something doesn't grab me right away, even a book, I am a big reader. I will finish a book because I just have to, but it's hard sometimes. And sometimes even when I'm watching a show, I'm just my attention span's half there. I'm scrolling. Yeah. It's scary. I catch it myself.
Right. But, it's great that you read books, because that is one of the great ways to retrain our brain. Our brain is very malleable, regardless of age, whether you're an old fogey like Brian or a young person
I don't even know you.
Or a young person
Usually
like
someone
me.
takes me out to dinner before they start insulting me.
But by just reading, and even just small amounts, right, to start retraining your brain, 10 to 15 minutes, if you can stay focused, and little by little you build up that time, that's a great way to retrain your brain. And just having little micro pauses. So, for example, Brian has his phone here, right? So he when we're off air, he's going to want to reach for that phone. But if he just stops himself and just says, hey, is this really important? Is it an urgent matter, or is it really an important matter? And those micro pauses over time start reshifting our brain.
What's your background, and why is this of interest to your life and your profession, I assume?
Well, it's a great question. It's a complicated question because there's many aspects to it with my background. My professional background is I'm an eye surgeon, and in any surgery, as a professional, we have to pause. We have to pause before that incision, and that pause acts as a way of assessment and recalibration. It's really experience speaking up when we pause. But even more importantly, my background is that I'm actually a Cuban refugee. So my entire life, up until, let's say, more recently, has been built on delayed gratification. So delayed gratification was the topic of my first TEDx talk, and ultimately it became the topic of a book that I wrote called The Power of Pause, Mastering Delayed Gratification for Success. So when one has to delay gratification because you're a refugee, an immigrant, and you have nothing, your family has nothing, that teaches you to pause, to save before you spend, to think things through before just reacting and not react emotionally. So it's kind of been built a little bit into my DNA. Now, am I perfect? No. If you were to ask my wife, no, I've made the mistakes and I get sucked in like anyone else. I'm not perfect, but I think delayed gratification is a key that ultimately leads to that power of pause.
I'm curious, what in your view is either the biggest concern or consequence if we keep going the way we are with shorter attention spans?
Yeah, great question, because when we're reacting emotionally or instantly, we make mistakes. And mistakes, it's not just simple mistakes, right? When you're in certain professions, when you're a surgeon, when you're in aviation, when you're in high technical skilled fields, mistakes can really compound and can be, even, not to be exaggerating, but really they can be life-threatening. So I think it's just bad for society overall to be so instantaneous with everything. If we just learn to take a step back and pause and reflect before we react, I think the world overall would be a much better place.
How do we battle the billion-dollar industries that are making us do this? Like, they're way smarter than us, and do we have to tackle this at a child's age before we get sucked in, or is it too late for old fogies? Is that what you call them?
Yeah. Okay, I'll admit I'm just a year or two older than you. I'll admit that. But okay, I heard laughing out there. I honestly don't think it's very easy to battle the industry, but I think the way we battle it is individually, and as you correctly pointed out, to do our best to teach our children. That's a difficult task, having three of our own. Our youngest, whose name is almost is Annalise, not Annalisa, and she's almost 15. But it's difficult because these kids have their phones. Now, there are parents who don't let their teenagers have phones, and I actually admire that, but we didn't do that because it's a very difficult task when all their friends have phones around them. Right. You don't want them to feel ostracized. But I think teaching them and hopefully modeling for them the fact that you as a parent and as an adult can hopefully practice what you preach and can pause and reflect and not necessarily act out of instant emotion, that goes a long way, because children are like sponges and they take in their surroundings.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you and find your book and everything?
Well, the book, The Power of Pause, Mastering Delayed Gratification for Success, is available pretty much everywhere. The easiest place, of course, is Amazon, but you can find it at any major retailer. I also, just as a little plug, I also narrated my book myself.
Okay.
So it's available on Audible for your audiophiles in the audience. And as far as finding out about me, I have a personal website separate from my professional career, and it's called DrEmilioJusto.com, DrEmilioJusto.com, and it has everything in it and anything you'd want to know about me and all my past talks and podcasts and TEDx talks and books, and everything's in there.
All of it.
Is it a little unfair that he has so many different skills and interests? Like,
I know.
like, leave some for the rest of us,
I know.
Doctor.
Well, 3 TEDx talks. That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Doctor.
very
Yeah,
kind.
thank you so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a great
you.
day.